that I am actually gonna say this. I have too much solar. Too much solar. Um, it isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I have excess power, but me as I've grown in this whole off-grid thing, and as I've been understanding how batteries work, how the sun charges, how how everything corresponds and correlates to everything. I realized today, of all days, that I have a hell of a lot more solar than what I think, or than what I really need. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Right now, it's like two something, right? All right. If you notice right here, batteries are at float. They're at 13.7, and the solar panels at 20.2 volts, which means that's nominal voltage. There's only a little bit of amps coming into the batteries because it's not necessary. In other words, the battery are totally full, and the solar panels are basically doing absolutely nothing point because everything's charged, and the whole house is like on, and I have multiple systems in the house. So really, I mean, if you really come to think about it, that's just wasted power. Like literally, right now, I could buy, like, let's say, four or five more batteries, and by this time of day, they would all be charged. You know what I mean? So, and what's interesting with this whole thing and the whole concept is that in in relative terms, I don't have a big solar system. You know, my solar system in total, because my system is divided into various systems. In total, I have a little upwards of 2,000 watts. I think like 2,000 and 2,100, 2,200, something like that. But the main system, okay, the one that I just showed you the little monitor of, that's about 1,190 watts, which is like 1.2 kilowatts. Um, that's a lot of freaking power. And I live in Puerto Rico, so what ends up happening is my solar hours are a little. I have more solar hours than many people that live in other places that aren't as sunny. But if in 1 hour my system has a capacity to produce 2,000 watts, and if I get a good solar day, and I get that's I mean, my system is capable of giving me 5 6 hours, you know 12,000 watts. I don't use none of that. you know I don't use none of that. Now, what's interesting, and what I find interesting about this, is that I feel that I can produce so much power, but when my batteries are charging, the solar panels are only putting out like 40 amps. All right, 38 to 40 amps, which is what my batteries really do receive. So 40 amps, what's that, like 500 watts, maybe 600 watts. um I'm not even touching half of one of my systems in terms of power. So I have excess power. So it goes to show you that you can build a solar system. And now I kind of understand why my friend from the Solar Cabin channel, um, Lamar, he's lived for the last 20 years with only, like, I think, like 400 watts of solar, like just four 100-watt panels. He might have like something else separately, but that's his main system. He's been living off for years. And it's more than enough, because to recharge the batteries, even though I have more power than what I need, um, the batteries will take in as much as they can take in. So I'm oversized. My system is oversized, in terms of power production. Now, what ends up happening is this. What ends up happening is that since I have so much excess power, I'm planning on maybe getting like two more batteries and have those two batteries like with no solar panels, just totally separate. Well, I could get a solar panel for them. I mean, you don't really need it. Just to have like a separate little backup power bank for anything else I want to run. Like for example, if somebody comes to visit and they want to run one of them big turbo fans which draw a lot of power, I can have those separate batteries in that guest room so that the person can have a big old fan running all night and it doesn't use any of my power from any other system. Because it's the thing is, I have I have enough power and enough sunshine to fill more batteries, to recharge more batteries, which is a very good place to be, to be honest with you. And I think me personally, I kind of went overboard a little bit. I just kept buying panels and growing my system, and it isn't to say that I will not need in the future more panels because I am planning to build a brand new solar system with lithium batteries, 24 volt, to run air conditioning, free air conditioning. That's like right now. I mean, because it's like my whole house project. I'm like done with it. The only thing that I have to do with my house project is aesthetics. You know what I mean? But other than that, my house runs totally off grid. So I am gonna build the other solar system for the air conditioning. But I am gonna do that with 24 volts, and I'm probably gonna use most likely lithium. I think it's more appropriate for air conditioning. Lithium batteries. I mean, if not, then I'll go the lead acid route, which I really don't want to do. But but the thing is that I mean, this just hit me today. I'm like, damn. And let me tell you, right now it's like 2:30, but the batteries were already filled like by 11:30, 12. By 11:30, they were already at 14.4, and I'm like, holy shit, because I during the day, all of my power needs are supplied by the sun. So the batteries get charged, and I don't need them during the days when I do recording most of the time. So when I run the entire recording studio, it doesn't even make a dent, in the batteries because the batteries are full, and all of the power that I draw for the recording studio is coming straight from the sun. My freezers, everything, the sun is really running everything. So at the end of the day, the only thing, and when I say the end of the day, I'm talking when the sun goes down from 6 o'clock on, the only thing running is like the chest freezer, which in itself doesn't draw a lot of power, and the chest freezer, and maybe a fan and some lights, you know. So at at around 10 o'clock at night, I turn the inverter off. Freezer turns off. There's no need to run a chest freezer at night. As long as there's food in there and it's frozen and stuff, there's no need. You could turn the freezer off at night and save power. I only use 25% of my battery capacity. 25%, which is nothing. It's like having a cell phone at 100, and then 10 hours later, or 8 hours, 7 8 hours later, it's at 75%. And you're like, phone is full. That's basically me. So after running the entire day and at night, and I close, excuse me, and I turn off the inverter at night, I'm still at 75%. And that's from the main system. Mind you, I'm not even talking about my bedroom system, which is like fully charged at night. So technically, my entire whole living room system can be offset with just the solar system that I have in my bedroom. Look, I'll give you an example. Just my bedroom alone, all right, just the bedroom has 400, almost, I think 380 amp hours of battery storage and 500 watts of solar. Just my bedroom alone. And the only thing that I'm running off of my bedroom is the little 12-volt refrigerator that I have, which only draws what, like 2 amps, and a fan. That's it. I mean, I practically don't even use it. The one who uses it the most is actually my wife when she does her hair, her flat iron. She does that like once a week, and it takes about 3 hours. And her flat iron draws about 200 watts. But then she's doing it the flat iron during the day, so it doesn't affect the batteries at all because all of the power for her flat iron is coming straight from the sun. So it's like she'll have the flat iron on, the refrigerator, the little fridge on, the fan on, and the batteries still get charged. I mean, it's just ridiculous the amount of power. Because a lot of people they say, "Oh, I have a thousand watts of solar." Okay, yeah, you have 1,000 watts of solar, but during the day, you can produce. If you get 6 hours or 7 hours worth of sun, then you have 7,000 watt hours. That's a hell of a lot. So as long as you have the storage for it. So right now, this system right here, this isn't, each of these batteries, I paid almost $300 for each of these. Okay, I have two of them. All right, and I got them not too long ago, so these are relatively new. This charge controller, and on the roof there's two huge solar panels. This just runs my bedroom. This is like total overkill. Like, I don't need 750 watts of power. I mean, I'm not complaining, but I mean, I have a lot of damn power. I have a lot more power than what I want. So yesterday, I said, you know what? I'm gonna take the surveillance cameras, since the studio battery, I only use it a little bit because even studio has its own little backup system. I'll show it to you. So the studio has its own little backup system, and that battery in itself, right here. Oh shit! Hell, I just kicked something. All right, so that battery in itself, right here, right? This one, it might not look that big, but this battery, and I recommend this Group 29. Man, this bad boy, this is a bad mamma jamma right here. This is bad. I'm sorry, but Walmart, y'all. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. These batteries are freaking epic. I got that at Walmart, $100. That damn battery runs the entire studio. But anyway, what I did is, I have, like, I could run off of this. This is another 750 watt inverter, so I could run the studio off of this or off of the main system. Right now, the studio is off, but my surveillance cameras right there are on. So right now, off of this little system, I have 200 watts of solar just for this battery or the roof, and those two little monitors right there. Okay, if you can see, and it's got my surveillance cameras. All right, you can see outside. All right, you can see outside. All right, surveillance cameras and the monitors. It's only wasting 28 watts. You see that? 28. It's upside down. And it's actually less. What ends up happening is that I have a charger running off of that too, because I have a little battery underneath here. Right? Let me show you. I have a battery underneath this thing on that charger, right? That battery, I don't even use it, but that's actually with the purpose of just be able to charge cell phones. So that right now it's fully charged, but occasionally like it cycles a little bit, and so if I turn that off, all right, if I turn that off, which I'm gonna show you right now. All right, this is the battery charger to that little battery. If I disconnect it, right, it's gonna go down. All right, that's at 29. All right, so it's at right now. That one is at 29 watts. Okay, 29 watts. So that's the surveillance cameras, and that this radio, this I know on this battery directly, and basically 30 watts. So in other words, I can leave And with this change, I can just leave the surveillance cameras and everything on 24/7, and I still have excess power. You know what I mean? I have excess power. So, what I'm planning on doing is just getting a couple of extra batteries, um, just to have them. Maybe two. I'm thinking just two. I think with two, it'll suffice. Two extra batteries. Hopefully, if I can get the same one that I got at Walmart, the Ever Start. I like those batteries. I like them better than the Diehards. You know, it's a lot of power, man. I love these damn things. It's a lot of power, and I was thinking about in the future doing the whole wind turbine. And I was talking to a couple of friends of mine from the off grid community, and I explained my situation, and they basically told me something that I kind of already knew. Um, it, solar, I mean, wind power isn't. I mean, it isn't for everybody, and in my personal situation, it's kind of it really it's going to be more of a waste of money than what the practical use of it is going to be for me, at least for my case. Other people live in really windy areas, so it's different, but in my case, the wind speeds here, even though I do live close to the beach, the wind speeds aren't really gonna make so if I ever do wind, wind power, I'm gonna be doing it more kind of like as a hobby, but if I want more power, to run more stuff, I'm just gonna stick with solar. Solar is just too damn easy and reliable. The wind turbine things, you need to do dump loads, and then if the wind's too strong, and then there could be some mechanical failure in the long term. It's not like it sucks, but it's like a whole new creature, which I really don't need. Honestly, I really don't need it. But I wouldn't mind having some more solar. Because solar's consistent. Wind isn't. At least where I'm at. At least where I'm at. But yeah, man, I was just because I started doing the numbers, and I'm like, man, I got too much damn power. Now, the that being said, that's on a good day. Now, when if I get a rainy day that it's all rain and gray all day, then no matter how many solar panels I have, if there's no sun, there's no sun. I ain't getting no damn power. So, you know, but overall here in Puerto Rico, there's a lot. I mean, but it's just amazing. It's just amazing how the entire house is running. Okay, the entire house, everything's running, and the batteries are on float. That means that they're totally topped off. This array is at its max 19.8. That one is at 18.8. So as you can see, it's just bringing in two little amps. Over here, it's bringing maybe it's 2.6. I mean, very minimal. And if you don't know what the term float means, it simply means when the battery is totally full. The solar panel only sends enough power just to keep it from self discharging. So just to keep it top it off, it trickles in a little bit of energy, and but it's just the fact that it's so early on in the day. So early on in the day, I'm like already full. And it just hit me. I have excess power. I mean, right now, if I get, let's say, two or three more batteries, and have them separate, um, I got I got enough power to charge that too. You know, and that would be good. Have a nice little set of extra batteries just to charge them. So let's see what happens, man. But I'm just system's working really fine. Everything's working really good. Thank God. So my rainwater harvesting system is working very well. I have to order some. I have to order some new filters soon, but I don't change them like everybody else. I wash them and I disinfect them. So I actually get more of a runtime with my filters than other people do. You know, So yeah, that's what's going on. But I wanted to share that with you guys, so don't underestimate a smaller off-grid system, because the reality is, I mean, if you have good sun, it will produce a lot of power for you. So, all right, guys, let me get out of here. Peace.